Greetings! Salutations! Hello! Welcome to another Dreadlocks question and answer video where I answer your questions, or at least attempt to answer them as best as I can. First question this week is from KBrad13. KBrad13 asks, question, I'm having difficulty deciding if I want to commit to a full head of dreads or partial. If I do just go with partial dreads, how should I go about setting them since my normal hair will cover the roots? I personally recommend waiting out until you're 110% sure as to what you want to do. I don't think it's a great idea to just kind of be so-so about them and jump in, because they do require quite a lot of sort of determination just to get through those early weeks, early months. And I don't think partial dreads is a sort of in-between alternative. I don't think if you're kind of on the fence between dreads and no dreads that you should go with partial dreads just to test them out, because partial dreads can actually be a lot more work than a whole head of dreads. I know it seems a bit weird that, you know, there's fewer of them, so surely it would be less work, but the extra work that comes in from the separating the partial dreads away from the regular hair can make partial dreads even more hard work than a whole head of dreads. And so if you're using it just to test out whether you want a whole head of dreads or not, it can maybe put you off. If you are interested in just going for partial dreads for having partial dreads, I will link in the description my full partial dreads info video, and all you really do is start them the same way as you would start regular dreadlocks. You section off the hair, but you just stop before you've sectioned off the whole head. You just section as many individual dreads as you want and then stop when you're happy with how many you've got. You will care for them the same way as you will regular dreads, but there is a lot of extra separating going on because you have to stop the regular loose hair from knotting into the dreadlocked hair, and there's added complication from, you know, you need to condition and brush your regular hair but not condition and can't brush the dreadlocked hair. Crystal Dining asks, question, what do I do if I have dandruff with dreads? Is there a special dread shampoo I can use? Unfortunately, dreads and dandruff is a problem that there is no cure for, in that there is no cure for dandruff. If you suffer from dandruff without dreadlocks, you're going to suffer from dandruff with dreadlocks. It's just kind of the way it goes, and because dreadlock shampoo is not generally special dandruff medicated shampoo, it can be harder to deal with. So when you have normal regular hair and if you have dandruff, you just switch to a dandruff shampoo. With dreadlocks it's a little bit more difficult because there's just kind of no specific dandruff specific shampoo. The best thing that you can do is test out different dreadlock shampoos until you find the one that works best with your scalp. No one shampoo works perfect for everyone, in the same way that no one shampoo works perfect for everyone with regular hair. No one shampoo works perfect for everyone with dreadlocks. It's a bit of trial and error involved. If you're having a dandruff problem, you may want to seek out shampoos that contain rosemary essential oil, or tea tree, because those two oils can be great for soothing scalps. If you are in a particularly bad situation with dandruff, you can use a dandruff shampoo, a regular hair dandruff shampoo. It doesn't come all that highly recommended because they can lead to residue problems if used long term, but if the dandruff is getting to a point where it's just, you know, really bad, then it's the best thing you can do for it. I know a lot of people use T-gel shampoo every now and then to keep their dandruff under control. I also know people who use Head and Shoulders for their regular dreadlock shampoo. Personally, my experience with using Head and Shoulders as a regular dreadlock shampoo has been mixed at best, because in my experience it led to build up pretty quick. But different people have different experiences with different soaps. Courtney Jenkins asks, question, I'm waiting to start dreading my hair when it's a bit longer. In the messy early stage of the process, can I just wear a hat, or will it affect the maturing process somehow? The early messy stages are just that, messy, and it's generally not, you know, anyone's favorite part of the dreadlock process because it makes the dreadlocks kind of, I don't know, antisocial. They're a bit messy and they won't do what you want them to do, and they, blah. So you can wear a hat. Plenty of people do wear a hat. Not all hats are created equally though, so I'd recommend searching out a dreadlock tam, a hat that is, you know, like designed to work with dreadlocks, because they will hide the dreadlocks within them but not hold the hairs in place. Generally tams look like giant beanies, some have little brims, some don't, but they'll scoop up the hair, hold them within, but still allow them to move around and therefore not completely inhibit the hair's movement and therefore stop all knots from being able to be formed. If you just go for a regular hat, generally regular hats are going to be really tight fitting when you have dreadlocks, if you can even get them on, and when a hat is that tight, it's going to stop the hairs from being able to move all that much, and that can slow down the process. Take a bit of time, search out some dreadlock tams, find the one that you want and go for that. Sydney Rihanna asks, question, if I have loose ends ends that have not locked up, is it better to encourage them to lock up or just to leave them be? It really depends on what you want. Some people want locked up tips, like really locked up and blunted. Some people want loose tips. Some people want a sort of in between. I have a sort of in between. They're not locked up, but they're not like super long and wispy. Most people will find that their hair either goes one way or the other naturally. More often than not, that is loose. So in a lot of cases, tips won't completely lock up and blunt by themselves. It requires a sort of certain set of different things to fall into place to actually get your tips to lock up and blunt completely by themselves. So if someone has curly hair, they can find that their tips will blunt by themselves more easily, and if someone is going neglect, natural freeform, they can find that their tips have enough space to move around and completely blunt by themselves. But for the majority of people, a sort of loose wispy tip is what will form up naturally. What often seems to happen is the people that have loose tips want blunted tips, and people who want blunted tips want loose tips. If you want to try and encourage them to lock up, if locked up tips is what you're after, then of course you can try and get them to lock up, but whether they actually do lock up and whether they stay locked up is hard to say, because if your hair is trying to actively get to stay in one state rather than the other, it can be sort of a battle that you don't really win. Muli Mekbebe question: I've got dreads that are about a week old, and after I showered they seem to be a lot softer, and that's nice, but they are also a lot looser. Some roots that were tight before are now 2 centimeters of loose hair before the dread begins. I also got a lot more loose hair, and I don't think it's a problem, but maybe it will be if it continues after every shower. I just use the no poo method of baking soda and apple cider vinegar. When you wash new dreads, they are going to come loose. You can backcomb and backcomb and backcomb until your comb breaks. You can twist and rip until your fingers turn blue. You can wait weeks before giving them the first wash, and when you do finally come around to wash them, they will still come loose. Young dreadlocks are going to be loose. They can start out pretty tight on day one because the hair has been all teased and tightened up, but once they've started to relax and been washed, they will loosen up, and that's just kind of how it goes. Dreadlocks take months and months to form and mature, and formed up mature dreads, they're tight and strong. Young dreads have to get to that point. So it is completely normal and expected that they are going to get loosened after the first wash. How much they get loosened is going to differ from person to person, but it is not something to worry about. What you're most likely going to find is they're going to get a whole lot looser before they get tighter. Remember, it is going to take many months before they do reach that tightened, mature state, so you shouldn't be expecting them to be great and looking fantastic and tight from the first week. What you may also want to watch is the apple cider vinegar. While you can use baking soda and apple cider vinegar to soak hair and to wash dreadlocks, apple cider vinegar can be used as a conditioner. If you look up the no poo method for regular hair, the conditioning part is the apple cider vinegar, and the apple cider vinegar can soften the hair and loosen knots. So if you are having particular problems with your locks coming loose while they are young, you may want to either be really careful with the apple cider vinegar, dilute it, or leave it out for a little while until you are more confident with your locks. Those are my questions for this week. If you have a question you would like to ask me for the Dreadlocks Q&A, you can leave it down in the comment section below. Please write question at the start of your comment and it will join the queue, or you can join the Facebook page at facebook.com/lazydreads, and when I post up a status, normally on a Tuesday, but don't hold me to it, when I post up that status asking for Q&A questions, whichever question gets the most likes, that question will also join the next Q&A without having to go through the YouTube queue. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, useful, informative, fun, entertaining, you can click the thumbs up and then I will know that someone out there liked it, the like button. If you want to see more videos from me in the future, you can subscribe. If you're looking for dreadlocks information, tips, guide, advice, help, questions being answered, videos including this one, you can find all my stuff on lazydreads.com. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Farewell!